Welcome to the Cappiello and Collins Show on YouTube with David Cappiello and Michael Collins. The show where the right wing never gets a pass and the right wing is always wrong. And now here are our hosts, David Cappiello and Michael Collins.
But you know, what does this achieve with We Have Rights? Well, it actually gives the right to process people who discriminate, and it gives teeth to that law. They do have a CHRO thing today, but it's actually a sort of a toothless type of organization. If you're having a problem with a larger company,
but
the smaller companies, they can get away with murder, and they have, unfortunately.
One problem with organizations like CHRO, two problems actually. First of all, you know, it restricts your access to the state courts. A lot of people are asking, why do we even have an administrative state government organization doing these things and acting as a front line, almost as a gatekeeper to the courts. Secondly, I believe you have to have a certain number of employees before you are even subject to state anti-discrimination laws. I don't know what that minimum number is. It's not that many, but I believe if you have one or two employees, you're essentially exempt. You can discriminate all you want. That's my understanding. I could be wrong on that.
I think you're right. As far as that concerns, I think that it's something like under 20 employees or something like that. That you know, you're kind of exempt.
And also another problem with CHRO is, you know, one wonders how well are they funded against a transgender person. You can't, or a gay person for that matter. You can't just go in there and say, hi, I'm Mr. Gay, or hi, I'm Ms. Transgender, and I've been discriminated against. You have to prove that claim, and an investigator has to do an investigation. And, you know, the question is, shouldn't they allow people to just file in state court if they so choose?
First and foremost advice, if you get thrown out of a job, for example, because you're transgendered, is to, when you go to the hearing, the unemployment hearing, and you want to stipulate at that hearing any issues that they've had against you, and you want to get their reasons for just having you dismissed. For example, they can say, well, you've had a poor record of showing up on time. And you know, they can say anything they want, but you also have the right to counter that.
Yeah.
And to which they have to prove at that point in time that they stand correct. And a lot of times when a transgendered person or gay person is being fired, they really have very, very slim stuff on that employee. I want to talk to you, and I want to talk to you. And now, the other part of a problem with the transgendered group is that once they're unemployed, it's almost impossible to get employed. Unless you really pass very well, you know, you really fit your new gender, there's probably more female to males. They look very good. They can get very masculine looking with the beard on, and they bulk up because of testosterone shots, and you know, they wouldn't have any problem getting under the radar. Whereas a male to female, for the most part, unless they've had hormone therapy since they were a younger adolescent, has gone through puberty, has gone through their 20s and 30s, and and living with testosterone has practically destroyed any possible good female look. Once that's determined, there's always this kind of brouhaha in the shop. A lot of people will say, "Oh, bathroom issues." And it's funny, in the state of Connecticut, for example, you a male to female transgender and a female to male transgender can go into their respective bathrooms, their new gender respective bathrooms, no problem. But all of a sudden it gets down to a work situation where people are allowed, the dissent to your being transgendered, are allowed to have their opinion, and they're allowed to, say, "I don't want them in my room," and the boss is, he's not going to what it says with the law that allows you to go into the room. Now he's deferring to the employee, all the employees. So I think before long the employers kind of get the idea that the best policy is simply don't hire us. Simply don't hire a transgender person. Yeah.
Far more discrimination against transgender people than there is against lesbian, gay, and bisexual people.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Do you agree with that?
Lesbians are probably a little more accepted in the workplace. Nobody really makes a big deal about it.
Yeah.
But when it comes to gay males, people may not say anything about you to your back, but it's what they say about you behind your back. And I've been in these large, multi-personnel corporations, the government plants, and I've heard a lot of really rotten things being said about so-and-so who's gay. I think that, first of all, a lot of people who have prejudiced reasons for keeping transgender and gay and lesbian people, depriving them of their rights, that'll probably go away. One of the interesting things I saw in Maryland, where this quote-unquote concerned group of Americans were sort of rebelling against a law that was being enacted for the transgender community, ensuring them their rights. And they had gotten together something like 25,000 signatures on a petition to the election. And of course, I don't think that's a fair situation. Not that I don't think a lot of people will vote in a positive way for it, but I think a lot of people are now given the opportunity to use the discrimination that they are driven with to further discriminate
are you referring
against
to like
transgender and gay community.
You're referring to ballot initiatives and anti-gay constitutional amendments?
Yes, visualizing people when they're discriminating against us. We can see their actions. We can read the little telltale signs on the facial expression.
Potentially we could have several retirements on the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court of the United States really has the final say on these issues. And just like with the abortion issue, the gay rights and transgender rights issues, should they rise to the level of the Supreme Court, really all gay rights and transgender rights laws could be wiped off the books in theory by a negative Supreme Court ruling. In theory, they could bring back slavery. I mean, it's really scary what could happen if we have an extreme, hard right-wing dominated court, with a total majority. And under McCain, we know he's going to appoint Scalia-like judges who are hard right-wing people who do not believe in gay, do not believe in transgender, despise gay, and despise transgender people.